Welcome back. It's the 0 to 100 podcast. I am your host, WCW Poet. And like I had said in a short that I just released yesterday, going to be talking about the Cowboys and Rams joint practice. And before I get too crazy, which is always a possibility when I'm talking about the Cowboys, let's give some full context here and why a lot of Cowboys fans are probably a little overly excited about the results from what we saw from the reports that were coming out of the Cowboys Rams joint practice. The last couple of years, the Cowboys have been facing the Rams in a like joint scrimmage or joint practice because the Rams are in Los Angeles. Cowboys have their training camps out in Oxnard, California, so they usually link up to have joint practices. And I swear, like the last 2 years that they've done this, the Rams have pretty much been kicking the Cowboys' ass in these practices. And it's like, especially from a term of physicality, like the reports that will always be coming out of camp, especially last year in particular, was like the Rams really beat the crap out of the Cowboys, like to the point where Brian Schottenheimer said he had got pissed off, and then he had Joe Milton throw like a bomb, like he threw out his script and throw a bomb for a touchdown pass because he was mad and because of how the way the Rams was dominating the practice. And so I remember at that time, especially last year, I was like trying to tell Cowboys fans, calm down, try to talk about the layers like it's practice, practice. Like, not to go full Allen Iverson here, but it's not like we're not talking about actual football game. We're not even talking about preseason game. We're just talking about practice. And so I tried to say, oh, it doesn't mean anything. I dismissed it. But then the season gets here and you saw the Cowboys had like the absolute worst defense in the history of the NFL, at least in the history of this franchise. Um, it was really bad. Like it was incredibly bad, and the breadcrumbs were kind of there in this training camp and in practice. Like when people went back, like when they did the retrospective, you look at a lot of different Cowboys content creators or even Cowboy beat writers. Like they recognize that the breadcrumbs for this defense being bad was there in training camp and in the preseason. And, you know, a lot of people are excited about Christian Parker. I am excited about Christian Parker, but the fact that the Cowboys didn't get absolutely embarrassed like they had the last couple times they faced the Rams in these scrimmages, it's a little encouraging. And so I did want to go over just some of the reports that were coming out from the beat writers because the practice wasn't being filmed. The Rams had a rule where you couldn't film any of the practice or anything. Like they couldn't, like you couldn't, they weren't allowing media to broadcast that, which was made a big deal this week because when Christian Parker came out this week and said he hates it, like he hates the media filming practice because he recalled when he was on other staffs and knew that we were going to be playing, they were going to be playing the Cowboys. He would actually follow the different media people to get some of the clips and see some of the things that they were working on in practice. And to his credit, he said that isn't going to stop him. Like, because somebody asked him, well, does that mean you don't show everything or you don't work on the actual stuff? And he said no because, and I'm paraphrasing, but he pretty much was saying no because that would do a disservice to the work that we're doing, and we're going to do what we're going to do, regardless of what anybody else does. I mean, it's like the more Christian Parker talks, the more that he does, the more excited I am about to see what this defense is going to be. But let's get into what some of the reports that were coming out. This was from Patrick Nosey Walker, a great Cowboys beat writer, and so he one of the first things he pointed out was Matthew Stafford and Stetson Bennett have both made a few completions. Stafford's best being a nasty deep out to the sideline, but what stands out to me, little to no yak at all. Pressure keeps moving the Rams quarterbacks off their spots and forcing discomfort. That is pretty good. Sounds encouraging. Another one that he says, whoa, Matthew Stafford hands the counter left off to Blake Corum and D. Winters, absolutely obliterates the play before he gets back to the line of scrimmage. Sir, the speed and recognition. And I didn't cover like all of Patrick's tweets where he was reporting what was going on, but it was more like from that. Like if you go and if you follow Patrick No.C. Walker, you can see like he was very detailed in what was going on in the practice, and it was exciting. This was another big one for me because there's been a number of Cowboys content creators that are like, voicing concern over DeMarvion Overshawn. I'll admit, I am a huge Demo fan, but I will also admit that Demo has to stay healthy, and he's definitely giving you like a little Sean Lee vibe-ish with not being able to finish the season. And even when he came back last year, he didn't look like the Demo from the year before. And so there is legit reason to be concerned. But at no point in time do I feel like DeMarvion Overshawn was going to lose his job to Jayshon Barham, the rookie linebacker from Michigan, even though all the reports coming out of camp is that Jayshon Barham has been killing it. And I'm excited to hear that. I'm glad. It was a little surprising to hear during OTAs that they were going to try Demo out at the mic. But from what I can hear or from what I saw from what Joseph Hoyt from the Dallas Morning News reports, DeMarvion Overshawn just had back-to-back nice plays that got the sideline fired up. He had a nice run, fill for a short gain, and then had a stop on a check down to force a punt. He's flying around. That's encouraging to me. And, there was other people that was like Nick Harris. I should have grabbed his tweet, but Nick Harris did a really great recap of the players that he said stood out. DeMarvion Overshawn, Quentin Williams were two of the people that he highlighted. Siobhan Ravel was another one. Caleb Downs, and because he primarily watched the defense versus the Rams L. And so to hear that DeMarvion Overshawn stood out, it gets you excited because like we saw how good he was. Like he missed his rookie year because he tore his ACL. His second year, when he actually got to play, like you saw it, you're like, oh snap! Like this dude is good. Like he had a great first game versus the Browns. I still remember the play that he made versus the first time they played the Giants, where he tipped the ball he tipped the pass up in the air, picked it off, and ran it back for a touchdown. And it was just like, what? And then even like seeing him versus the Eagles, he was killing it. Like it was exciting to see DeMarvion Overshawn as his second year, but then unfortunately got hurt. And everybody was banking on him last year when he was coming back because the defense was so atrocious. But yeah, even he could not save that atrocious defense. But want to end this off with Patrick No.C.'s like pretty much recap of it, which was the joint practice is concluded. Cowboys defense takes the day, in my opinion, and it wasn't close at all. Oh, we might have something real here. I'm trying not to go crazy. Like one of the things that is so frustrating about being a Cowboys fan, even though we haven't seen the Cowboys win a Super Bowl in over 30 years, is like people still act like Cowboy fans come out and be like, go to the Super Bowl like every year. That may have been the case like back in the 70s. And it may have even been the case like towards the early part of the 80s. But it wasn't the case like all throughout the midst of the 80s when they started to fall off. And like, yeah, when Jimmy Johnson came and took over, yeah, you probably could say that because I know I said it like as I was growing up, which is when I came into sports consciousness. And when I was watching them play, I used to say it like every year because I got to see them win a Super Bowl, go to the NFC Championship game, didn't make it, but then the very next year go to another Super Bowl and win it. And so, yes, I was spoiled, and I just expected them to win Super Bowls every year or at least every other year. Like that's just how I grew up watching them. And so, but the Cowboys fans now, they do not do that. I feel like Cowboys fans now are way more like, I think I said it before on I know I said it on one of the podcasts on the audio form, was that I think I hate Cowboys fans more than any other fan base. Like that's like my second most hated fan base after the Eagles because Cowboys fans can be so pessimistic because they haven't seen them do anything great for such a long time. So it is a myth that Cowboy fans come out and be like, "This is our year." No, we don't. We not. They don't do that anymore. We don't do that. But yeah, I am again compared to what the Cowboys have done versus the Rams in these previous year scrimmages. It's reason to be excited, in my opinion. Um, this was a final recap by John Machota, and I wanted to include this because I thought he did a really great job of breaking down a lot of the big things that other people had been reporting. So John Machota went out and he tweeted this. He said, "Not allowed to take video from the Cowboys and Rams practice, but some notables from the third part of the team drills. Justin Barron had a third interception. Yep, Justin Barron was an undrafted free agent linebacker that the Cowboys picked up. Had a great day. He had three interceptions of Matthew Stafford. This wasn't like he was picking off Stetson Bennett. He was picking off Matt Stafford. Dak found Ryan Floriday for a big gain on a slant. Dak was intercepted in the red zone, targeting George Pickens, but Dak had two TD passes to CD in the red zone work. Dak had another TD pass to Brevin Spann-Ford in red zone work. Michael Trigg had a TD catch from Sam Howell, and Tyler Guyton spent some time with the trainers looking at his arm, but he returned. Siobhan Ravel nearly intercepted Stafford on a well-defended fade ball in the end zone. So again, those are like positive things. Like Siobhan Ravel is another player who it's funny because like if you see the videos or the clips that has been coming out from camp, like he has been like George Pickens has been taking this man to school. But when you look at it, like it sounds like because like people are like, oh, Pickens is whipping Siobhan Ravel's ass. And well, first off, that's George Pickens. But when you actually see the clips and you actually watch it, it's not that Ravel is actually in bad position. He's actually in great position. And George Pickens has to make these circus catches or these unbelievable catches, which he can do, to actually make the play. And so I'm like, okay, if that's the way you go cover, because you're not going to be going up against George Pickens every week. You're just not. So that is incredibly encouraging to me. But the thing that I wanted to wrap it up on, and it also kind of ties to how I had said earlier this year when I was doing the podcast, I said how like I did a short where I said the this offseason feels different. Like the way that the Cowboys have been handling their business feels different. Like when I had Teddy on after we reviewed the first four episodes of X-Men 97, we ended up talking a little bit about Cowboys and we both said like how good it felt that the offseason was quiet. Like you didn't hear any crazy drama. You didn't hear anything like there was no like behind the scenes drama. There was no contract issues. Like even with George Pickens, there's been no contract issues. They just signed Quentin Williams to a massive deal. So he is locked in for at least the next 3 years with the Cowboys. And that freed up some space. And then even the way Stephen Jones, Cat Boy, has been talking has been encouraging because he's like when people are saying, "Oh, what about you guys think about looking at Von Miller?" and he's like, "We're thinking bigger," or "Are you guys thinking about Bobby Wagner?" Think bigger. You're like, "Wait, what? Who is this? That's not. Is that Catboy? Is that you? Like what? Like that don't even sound right." So I wanted to highlight this tweet here that and I from Jeff Cobb of Fox 4 in Dallas. So the Rams players watch the Cowboys run after joint practice, put in that extra work in. Ish, we ain't doing that with y'all. Brian Schottenheimer wasn't the one to call for conditioning at the end. That came from the Cowboys players. So one of the other big deals that have been coming out from camp is that at the end of every practice, the Cowboys have been running gassers, and it's a conditioning drill. Like it's like you run from one end of the field to the other, and anybody that's played football knows what the the gassers are and know what that conditioning drill is like, it sucks. It's not fun, especially like after you just been practicing hard and then you got to run these sprints at the end of practice after you already are freaking tired. So it's supposed to build your condition. It's supposed to like, give you that push. Like when you're in the game and it's the fourth quarter, you tired, you go back to this conditioning. Like that's the whole point of training camp, to get you ready for the hard part of the season. And so the fact that Schottenheimer wasn't the one that called for them to do this after, like, they've been ending every single practice with this. And so like they don't care that it was a joint practice with the Rams. This is how we end practice. And for the players to make that call, dog, I'm just saying, like, it just feels different. It just feels different. Like Brian Schottenheimer was always coming in and talking about how he wanted to change the culture of this team. And it's a little crazy, but I do feel like he's actually being successful in regards to changing the culture. Now, again, this isn't a game. This was not a game. It wasn't even a preseason game. It was just practice. Practice. We talk about practice. Like you can't say practice and not go into the Allen Iverson's speech. But it's like, so it's hard to not get excited, especially with how bad the Cowboys defense was last year. Like that's the reason why I think people are actually even hopeful, because the offense, now again, you don't want to sit there and be presumptive and think, oh, but the offense is going to come right back out, because now teams have had an entire offseason to understand Brian Schottenheimer's offense and how to scheme up against it. And so now it's on Schottenheimer and Clayton Adams, the offensive coordinator, to come up with new things to counteract what other teams are going to try and take away. And so, but I still, like, I don't have any real concerns about the offense. So you're just like, I still think it's going to be a top 5 offense. And it's like, if you have a top 5 offense and this defense could be like the dream for me is a top 15. Well, let me, top 10 defense is the ultimate dream. I don't think there's no way in the world that they're going to jump from, they were ranked 30, it was 32 in pass defense, 30th in overall defense, the Cowboys, and they were 32nd in scoring defense. So I don't expect them to jump from 32 to top 10. Like that'd be insane. Like that's not gonna happen. Like even from a realistic standpoint. But I do think they could possibly be within the top 20. And within the top 20 with this offense is encouraging. And then the real dream is if they can make it a top 15 defense. And if it's a top 15 defense, bro, dog. I'm just all right. Let me calm down. Let's bring it down. I'm just like, I'm cautiously optimistic. I'm gonna say that. Like I'm always the optimistic Cowboys fan in general. Like I said before, the Green Bay Packers lost in the playoffs after they did won 14 straight home games. It broke a lot of people in this fan base, it myself included. Like I had never been more pessimistic about the Cowboys in my life. And then you follow it up with 2 horrendously bad seasons where Mike McCarthy gets fired. Well, actually, I'm sorry, Mike McCarthy didn't get fired. He didn't get a contract. Like his contract was up and he didn't want to renew it. Like that's literally what happened. He didn't want to come back. And then Matt Eberflus, good Lord. That was like, I thought Mike Nolan's defense was really bad when Mike McCarthy first took over, but Matt Eberflus literally, no, it was the worst defense I've ever seen in my life. Like it was atrocious. So I'm excited. Like I'm trying not to go crazy. They have their very first preseason game versus the Seahawks this Saturday. I will definitely be back to come and talk about it. But yeah, man, it's Cowboys fans. Listen, dog, it's a little reason to get excited a little bit. And if Stephen Jones isn't lying, and because that's the other thing, there's been so much smoke lately about them pulling off another move. I don't know who it's gonna be for. I don't know if it's gonna be like the linebacker Brooks for Miami or Max Crosby. Like I've gotten to this point where I don't think the Max Crosby thing is gonna happen. Like it's in my mind, I'm like, it makes sense. I feel like it could happen, it should happen, but I'm not trying to get my hopes up in that regard. But I will say this, I'll tell you right now, if they actually do get Crosby, I will definitely be going live and all this calm reserve like how I am because I'm really not. I haven't gone full like 0 to 100 yet. Um, yeah, that's gonna be out the window. That's gonna be out the window. But that's gonna do it for this portion of the 0 to 100 podcast. Thank you guys for tuning in and listening. I can tell you right now what's gonna be coming up in the second part because what I've been doing for the YouTube side of it, for those who have been watching, is I'll post one part on YouTube and then I'll post like the other part of the episode, like the second part of the episode with the which is a different segment. I'll post that later, and then the audio form I combined, and so you just get the full episode in audio form. But again, let me know what you guys think about the Cowboys joint practice, the reports that have been coming out. You can always email the show at 0 to 100pod@gmail.com. That's the number 0TO100pod at gmail.com. Also, you can follow me on all of the socials. That is Twitter, Blue Sky, Threads, even Spill. Nobody knows what that is. But you follow me at WCW Poet. Um, yeah, I can tell you right now in the second part, I'll be talking about Spider-Man Brand New Day, which, listen, that's coming. And I'm going to there's going to be no reserve. I can tell you right now when I come to talk about that. I'll probably be joined by some guests, which will have that. So that'll be out this week as well. But thanks for tuning in. This has been the 0 to 100 podcast. This is the first part. This feels different. We out.